Jackie and Laurie Show. The Jackie and Laurie Show.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
You were sleeping moments ago.
Just moments ago.
Did you have a set tonight?
No, I did. My day has been fraught with peril. I mean, many things have happened. But I will say that I did 2 Dork Forests. One with a great actress, improv, did stand up for a heartbeat. She was like, turns out it's an art form and very hard. And I was like, well, or you didn't like it enough. And she was like, oh, there's that. Maybe I'll try it again. And I was like, what have I done? And her name's Martha Bowles, and she's really interesting. Right before we started recording, she was like, oh, I forgot to mention, my day job is I play in a dueling pianos. And I was like, oh, we'll be talking about that for an hour.
I knew a comic who spinned off into that.
Oh, really?
His name was Dean Edwards, but he was the white Dean Edwards.
Okay.
Yes.
The white Dean Edwards.
Yes.
And then I did an episode with Tig Notaro, and her dorkdom was veganism. It was going to be Chrissy Hind. And then it turns out she was either hungry or she had just eaten because she talked for an hour about being vegan.
I wonder if she knows more than I do about Chrissy Hind.
I don't know, because you know a lot about Chrissy Hind, and you could come on the Dork Forest, but I would want it to be about swimming, quite honestly.
Let's postpone that indefinitely.
That made
Jackie,
me laugh.
we're almost at the 4-year mark of talking an hour a week, every single week, without fail.
Excellent. And the joy in your voice, really, it sells it. I think it sells it. And then in between, we cleaned out the garage so that the new T-shirt, I have a couple of new T-shirt designs coming in.
Yeah.
And one of them was delivered today, and it was wrong.
Oh, how many?
100.
Ooh.
It's never, the last time there was an error was the Jackie and Laurie T-shirts, where I did not check the size of the design, and thus were delivered shirts that were too small.
Oh,
and
the
I didn't
little
like
tiny
them.
icon
Yeah, they were
on the
small.
black shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one is the squish one, and it's too big. And I checked my emails, and I gave them dimensions.
Yeah.
And so this is the same company I've been working with for a dozen years.
Right.
And I emailed them, and I was like, I'm enormously disappointed.
Wow, that's good. That's some good language.
And I was like, I am full on, this is not my error. This is your error. You have to correct this. And I got the weirdest, it was just sort of I don't even think he looked at the email thread or anything. He said, oh, that's aesthetically, we thought it looked all right. We're really confused that you didn't like it. And,
oh my God.
And so I was like, I thought about getting really mad.
They don't send you one first?
No, there's no proof. There's no proof. And it's almost always worked out. You know, there was the one time that was my error. And I said, when it was my error, I ate the grand, 11, whatever the $500 that it was. We did. You'll be happy to know. You were involved.
I was in on it too. That's all right. I accept it.
And so I said, you have to, either replace these. I mean, they really have a choice. They can either replace them, refund them, and I go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Or do nothing and I go somewhere else.
Right.
And I have another design that is also coming up. And
these are good shirts.
They're the union made.
Yeah, that's a hard place to replace.
Well, no,
right?
There's plenty of places because they're not a union. I haven't been able to find a union printer.
Right.
I found union made shirts. And this place has been for a dozen years.
Okay.
And I'm not a huge customer of theirs, but it's about $4 or $5 grand a year.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know a lot about whatever.
Yeah.
But
silk screening, is it silk screening?
It is silk screening, but I don't know about
that's just
how
a phrase
big
I know
that's
involved with printing.
Anyway, I was so mad. So I mailed them back to them so that I would not settle.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, so that I could not be talked into
keeping them
and just and then eventually throwing them. I'll be like, you throw these out for me.
Yeah.
Because either you're going to fix it or you're not going to fix it. And I'm going to have to get new shirts anyway.
Are you going to get them in time for a road gig?
I don't know because the 2 weeks are December. It's obviously December 10th is Acme, and December 18th is Madison.
Yeah.
And then I picked up a private in Milwaukee in between.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so it's pretty great.
Well, I had this one gig in Utah where it wasn't coming through, and then
right.
I was like, this doesn't seem legit, and I sort of backed away from it. But now it seems like it was legit, so I probably shouldn't have backed away from it.
Well, how about this? How about the clarity of intent? Is expressed from the get.
Exactly.
Because I remember that gig, and the guy not really responding to you in any sort of a fashion that felt
the
dodgy.
response was we're working on it.
Yeah,
and it just felt like
it felt weird.
I don't know this person, and it's not an established comedy gig, and
right. But, there wasn't any paperwork, and it just yeah.
I did get offered a show in Luxembourg.
What?
Yeah.
Your homeland?
Not till May.
Right.
And it happens to fall on one of our hiatus weeks. So
really?
So if we can make it happen, I want to try to get some other stuff in the area.
Yeah. You know who to ask? Tom Rhodes.
I feel bad. Everyone asks Tom Rhodes.
But the thing is I don't know that he doesn't like it. I mean, and because I think he's kind of excited about, like, Jenny Zagrino knows too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She's got access to all kinds of things, and that's awesome though.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's British gigs, and there's
Britain seems like a whole nother challenge versus just staying on, as we call it, the continent, Jackie. And Paris and Germany, and there's
the Berlin gig.
Yeah, just kind of stuff like that. It's Britain.
There's a really cool room in Berlin that the guy keeps asking me to come to.
I would. That sounds fun.
Okay.
Yeah, and there. See, booked.
There you go.
Done.
Booked.
Happy
to have at least 2 or 3 gigs in a week.
Yeah.
Via train. Mm-hmm. Because that's what people on the continent do. Probably.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know. I've done it. Mm-hmm. Thank you. We our stand show was sold out, right?
Yeah. Well, I believe so. Yeah, I think so too. That's what he said.
So we had there's 2 people we met that I want them to email us to make sure. First is Jessica, who left something we just want to make sure she got it.
No, she did get it.
She did?
Yeah. Did you not?
No.
Maybe it was on Instagram that she posted. No.
We wrapped it in a tote. And
and
we
she
left
was
it.
psyched, and she was like, "This is the." I thought I said that to you, Jessica. You got your thing. Email. Just send me a direct
Jackie and
email.
Laurie at Gmail.
Yeah,
just
Jackie
let us
and Laurie
know.
at Gmail
You got everything
for sure.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then Blandine, who we met in line, and she wanted a book, but I had just sold out. So email me, Blandine. Jackie and Laurie at gmail.com.
Okay, and. Yeah, because
we try to take care of our people that come out to us.
Right,
that's an effort.
It was the tiniest.
No offense, but you guys just downloaded this shit on your phone you fucking have in your purse or whatever. Okay, some people get in a car and
Jessica,
they actually go see a show.
You'll be happy to know that you dropped your wallet, the whole thing, one of those long wallets that has everything in the whole wide world in it.
Awful. I have not. I've been worried. I've been thinking about it every single day.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Where did I hear that she got it?
I don't know.
It must have been either Facebook or Instagram.
Did she take? Okay, I'm on a backup phone for now, so
right.
I
that's
don't
right.
even have.
That's right.
Not everything's downloaded.
What are you gonna do about that?
I got another 6 Plus on eBay, so I have to transfer it all over. I'm going to do that today, tomorrow, or the next day.
Oh man, I wish you'd take my 6 Plus, and then I could have an excuse.
Oh, you want a new one?
I want an 11.
Oh, Jackie,
I know,
like over $1,000.
So that was over $1,000. The 6 Plus. Because you know what happened was my iPad, which I was using at the time, and I think I had a 5.
Yeah.
Or might have been even a 4. They both died one weekend when I was doing a weekend gig in Davenport, Iowa. And they don't have an Apple store.
Oh my God.
And so I had to go to a Best Buy.
Wow.
And so I bought that phone to replace both of those 2 items, which is why I justified spending all of the money in the world.
Sure. just the thought of being in Iowa without your Apple machines is really sad to me. Shoot, what was I going to say? I forget. Oh, I feel like iPhones are like cars. You never buy them new.
Oh,
Always get them
interesting.
used. As soon as you buy them, they lose hundreds of dollars in value.
This is an
An
interesting
iPhone
theory.
and a car loses thousands. So don't get a new one.
Depreciation is immediate.
Yes.
Once you take it out of the
Yes,
box.
on eBay, they test all these, these whatever these eBay resellers
How
are.
long-
That's their business. They check this shit. They make
they're
sure that it
refurbished
still
or
works and
whatever.
refurbished and all
What?
that. Yeah.
How long have you had this 6 Plus?
This one here?
Yeah. Or the one that was
the
jacked?
one I keep dropping. I dropped it a couple times. That's why it died.
Yeah.
It's not the phone that died. I just, I threw it at a thing and I then I was bouncing
have it
it.
for
I
a
don't know
couple-
why. I was just bored and
I don't
bounced
know what
it.
happened. You threw it in the pool.
No.
What?
No, I just dropped it.
Right, but how long had you had it?
A couple years, maybe
Okay.
a year or so. And this one, this is the backup phone. This one doesn't take pictures, and I can only talk on speakerphone. So
Oh, God.
this is it's a backup for sure, but
Right,
it's not
right.
a long term.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
not that I take a lot of pictures, but I'm trying to up my Instagram game. And you can't do that with a phone that doesn't take pictures.
It's true. You cannot do that. So I did a show last night that was a political show with Bill Bronner.
Okay.
Have you ever done any of those Comedy Nation ones? Maybe
I
not.
don't know.
But it was me, Bill Dwyer, Matt Kirshen,
Okay.
a young woman named Kelsey, whose last name I'm
Cook?
spacing. Don't know.
Kelsey Cook, blonde hair.
Don't think so.
Okay. All right.
And then no, it was not. It was Bill Blazel. Do you know Bill Blazel?
Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York City.
Yes.
Are you okay
Yes,
right now?
No. I don't know why I'm even trying.
Should we
to tell
call
a
the
story.
authorities or an ambulance?
The authorities. For sure. I don't. Who's got money for the ambulance?
She gets a prison doctor.
It was his name's Bill, but he's a showrunner from that '70s show. Do you remember that guy? Did stand up for a long time.
Oh, Mark.
Mark. Shit.
Mark. Yes, Mark. Fuck. Mark Brazil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bill de Blasio. Yeah, that guy. What is my problem? Anyway,
I don't even know how those two names got crossed in your head.
Well, I think drugs, alcohol,
Oh, right.
all of
that
it.
stuff.
It's all over.
Sure.
It's but it was a political show
Mm-hmm.
that is Mark Brazil,
Yes.
and I don't know why I
You
thought
didn't
it was
even
Bill.
believe me? You had to double check?
Oh, I totally had to double check.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know why, but it is that because there's the Kelsey woman.
No,
Kelsey
different
Cook?
Kelsey.
Okay. So, it was so funny because she, and I think I think she said it to Bill, Kelsey Goldberg. That's it.
Okay.
She's very funny. She seemed very nice. And, we got into it a little bit because she's very idealistic and it was an all political thing. And we were supposed to write 5 minutes, about if Trump is reelected and, could it get worse? That was the theme.
Right.
And so I'm sitting next to Kirshen before the show, and he's like, What is this? What have I done?" And he actually had an amazing analogy. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a bit so much as he was just talking about how he's voting for anyone.
Yeah.
And he's voting for anyone because if he were in a dungeon and his balls were being eaten by rats, and someone said, "I can get rid of 50% of these rats," he would take him up on that. And Kelsey was like, "I don't think you should. And I think you should wait because you're still going to be eaten alive by rats." He was like, "Yeah, but 50% less rats, I'm in."
I was talking to my neighbor who's a comic as well, and we were just talking about how there's certain very strident people. I'm not saying it's her. I'm talking about other comics
In general.
that are childless and are want to hold out for Bernie or nothing, and
Or perfection.
yeah, it's like you have nothing to lose if nothing goes wrong because you're a a 60-ish white man, and you're headed towards home base right now, right?
Right.
So it's so frustrating where it's like I want the best, but I'll settle for something just because I have skin in the
generation.
future game.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And it seems like that's a big dividing line. It's hard for not you, but it's hard for a lot of men that don't have kids that are older to imagine that you'd still care about, the future
right.
for these little these new
I
people.
have this. I wanted to work on this new billionaire bit of that I was thinking about doing, and by the time I got up, I was so mad at everybody else's sets that I literally was just like talking about the history in Kelsey's act.
Yeah.
'Cause she referenced McKinley and how McKinley was an imperialist and he was murdered.
People are doing homework. Oh, he was murdered?
Yeah, he was one of the assassinated.
Oh, of
ones.
course. Yeah,
But the thing a thing about McKinley is that he was assassinated by a guy that they said was an anarchist, but he was assassinated by Eric Trump. He was assassinated by a guy who wanted to be the ambassador to France.
Oh, okay.
And McKinley's people wouldn't respond, so he killed McKinley, and so it wasn't a politically motivated. He was a madman.
Well, it sounds like you would have been a good ambassador.
He would have been an amazing ambassador to France in
He's getting
1893.
shit done for the United States.
Yeah, and I mean, and the Hawaii thing with McKinley, and it was, but it was funny because she was like, she did not do the homework. None of us did. I mean, she seemed like she had done the most homework, and but she said the McKinley thing, and she said, no, I just liked it because he was killed. And I was like, do you have any sort of plans for our current? And she was like, no. And I said, good. We're in a public situation.
It's weird. I think you're supposed to use the word assassinated.
Right.
Like almost exclusively with a murdered president.
Murdered president, the word assassinate. She might have used it. I remember I'm calling guys named Mark Bill tonight.
That's true.
So guys named Mark are not named Bill.
Yeah.
That could be the name of this episode. There's hope there.
Okay.
But it was such a weird, I don't know that I can do, I don't really do straight up political jokes, right? Naming names, naming legislation.
Yeah.
It's more socio-political.
Right.
And it's more political than it's ever been.
Yeah.
But because I've always been a political person. Like, I'm alive. I've voted. I grew up in a relatively aware family that talked about politics far too much.
Right, right.
But I don't want to do political comedy because I get too angry.
It angers the audience, and it's not comedy's supposed to be fun and silly and not clappy,
It can't. I mean, I've seen people do it funny.
Yeah, yes, it's not common, but it's also, and I understand people have a movement or they have, a thing, and there's a cult of personality, and everyone that listens to their podcast or whatever wants to feel like they belong, and so they're part of a group. They've created
Yeah, I don't think that
something.
those political podcasts that are supposed to be comedy podcasts do a lot of comedy.
Well, I
Or
mean, but they
they're
would do
comics, but they're
events.
riffing, I
They'll do
suppose.
events at a comedy
live?
club.
Yeah, live
Right.
comedy. That's
and
true.
Everyone will come out and stuff. But I'm not. Is that a ha from your stuff? That thing that laugh thing that happens involuntarily.
That thing where you laugh out loud. The LOLing.
That's a tough one. It's always a tough one.
It's tough.
We spend our whole lives seeking that. So it's really hard to make happen.
Why make it harder for yourself to some extent?
Right, because
Which is why maybe I didn't want to do it.
as soon as you mention names, political names, people tense up. Even the people that are on your side have some sort of anxiety about it, and it's hard to flip that into a laugh.
Right.
That anxiety versus tension where you're going to sneak a punchline in or however you write
Ted
your joke.
Alexandro does very socio-political stuff.
Yeah, he's great.
And he's great.
Yeah.
And it's not, and it is belly laughs, and it is.
Do you know how long he's been working on the ability to do that? So fucking long.
That's it.
I mean, that guy at least 25 years.
Right.
And
you have to want that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, he has
You
he's
saying
developed.
I can't do it?
What?
Are you saying? You saying I can't do it?
No, this is me. It's
Okay.
Betel Alexandra. I'm sorry, Jackie. We'll get back to you in a second. You've only,
I don't
this
even
is
know
your
how
third
we got
podcast
off.
today.
I don't even understand how we got off me.
But he spent so much time developing a personality that could start to do those kind of jokes. You know, it's but also do other
I've
shit.
known him off and on for probably 20 years.
He's so good.
But you've probably known him, like done more hanging out in green rooms and stuff because of New York.
Yeah, I guess like since 2000 or 99 or something like
Right,
that.
for 20 years, but
Yeah, same thing.
not like off and on. But
Right.
like full on more
Yeah, just
more regular.
Yes.
Like more
Yes.
seeing him more regularly.
Yeah.
Because he's actually a joy to watch just because it's gutsy stuff.
and he's so slow. And so many New York comics are like bam, 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 and that's so you feel like you got to go up there because you're following that, and the audience is like freaking out, and you have 10 to 12 minutes to get them on your side or get them into your rhythm, and so you kind of sometimes step into the rhythm that the previous comic left.
Right.
And Ted Alexander was always able to not do that. He would always just go up slow, look around, just make a few little comments about the audience, but not. He wasn't worried, and he wasn't like, "Oh, I'm not killing immediately."
He isn't worried.
Yes, and
You ever watch somebody on stage who isn't worried?
He's free. That's amazing.
That's when I had Tig on the show today. I was like, because she's not worried.
right. Yes.
When you watch Tig Notaro do stand-up comedy, you're like, oh, this is going to be on her agenda and her timeline.
Right.
And it's going to be a delight, but I'm nervous for her.
Yeah.
And she is not. So yeah, that is so good. I love, there are comics that can celebrate that silence that I've never been able to. I jump into the flow. Like
Yeah.
double dutch,
It's
know?
not
You're
a
just
celebration to me. Silence. It's a funeral.
It's a
Something
moment
just
of silence.
died.
Something just happened. So, yeah. But New York was fun.
It was great.
And then I came back.
And you came back on Sunday morning.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I came and I did, I think I did a couple of shows this week.
I did shows this week, and I should have fucking plugged, and I forgot because this Saturday I'm doing a Teo's show at Geeky Teas.
Well, right, you're running a long set.
Yes.
Over at Geeky Teas
Yeah.
here in LA.
Well, yeah, I'm just gonna have
state.
a fucking pile of notes up there.
Right.
Like I'm Janine Garofalo in 1995, and
Excellent. Can you
just-
talk about putting a Starbucks inside a Starbucks or inside your own home? That's one of my favorite
am
jokes
going to
of
do
all the
a
time.
froyo joke.
Changed to froyo. Fair enough.
She's the first person I ever heard say froyo, and I'm like, wow, that is impressive.
It's gutsy stuff.
Remember when frozen yogurt was
New.
so exciting to people?
I think
I was
that-
like, oh my God, it's like free ice cream.
Somebody
calorie-wise.
Somebody lost their minds about Pinkberry for like about a year and a half.
Right,
Didn't
yeah.
they?
There
Is that
used to be
frozen
one
yogurt?
right across? Yeah.
Okay.
It was right across the street from the comic strip, and it was lines out the block. And I think it's gone.
Do you know what LA thing I tried that was amazing the first time?
Right.
And the second time grossed me out was butter in coffee. Did you see this ghee coffee business?
Oh, yeah. My sister does that.
The first time I tried it, I was like, this is the most delicious thing. And I was like, I'm going to be a weirdo who drinks ghee and iced coffee. And then I got it again. I was like, yes, this is fall.
I don't think
so-
you're not supposed to have butter in iced coffee. I mean, isn't that just going to come up as butter chunks?
No, it's clarified butter. So it's
My sister does keto, and it's like butter in hot coffee.
Oh, she takes like a tab of butter and puts it in
I
hot
don't know how
coffee.
she does it, and
That
I will
seems
find out
unlikely.
at
Yeah, yeah.
Thanksgiving. But it
Oh,
sounds
right, 'cause
delicious, but I've never gone that extra mile in the
This
morning.
is the week that we do the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, this is coming. We're taping this on Thursday, recording it Thursday night, 11 o'clock.
Right, because tomorrow I'll be in Boston with Maria tomorrow.
Wait,
Boston and then
do you have a
Philly.
show tomorrow night in Boston?
No.
Okay, so you guys are
Blessedly-
flying out tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm going to get there tomorrow late. And then the show is Saturday night in Boston, Monday, Tuesday at Philly Helium.
Oh.
Sunday, Monday. Do you know why? Because
Why?
Maria Bamford likes an off night. where she's like, come and see me. Do not accidentally wander in a comedy club and see Maria Bamford.
If I gave you 2 books, would you bring it, or do you have room to bring it?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to mail a book to Ben and Michelle, who works there, and I haven't mailed them yet.
Oh.
But if it's too much, you got merch. I'm just saying, do you have extra room in your bags?
Yeah, I think my day pack can handle it. Yeah, it's fine.
That's a no. I don't think I.
No, the words, listen to the words.
Okay.
Yes, I'll bring them.
Sure.
There you go.
Okay.
And then we're done.
Because that adds like a pound to your.
To me walking around with a backpack, but my backpack's pretty empty. Andy likes to pack my merch, or shall we say, I don't do it on purpose. You ever do that thing where you iron in front of your parents, and then they grab the iron and fix it for you?
No,
You didn't have that childhood. I had Nancy Cation telling me that's not working on me. That's what she said to me. But I know that it has worked in some cases. And when I pack my bag in front of Andy Ashcraft, he's like, okay, you have to go away. He's got Tetris on the mind, and he can make everything fit in. He likes to make it fit. So, so I'm discontinuing 2 shirts, but so those are the ones that I'm bringing, because
what a way to sell it here on the podcast.
Well, because I don't think I've ever discontinued a shirt before. I think I just keep adding them. And it turns out, live in a finite space. I cannot possibly have 6 T-shirts. So
yeah, that's a lot.
Do you want to do? Why don't we do the Max Fun break?
Okay.
This week on Bullseye, Lin-Manuel Miranda on his Dark Materials, hip-hop, and life after Hamilton.
I know it's the first line of my obituary. So if that line is handled, then what else can I do with my time here?
It's Bullseye for MaximumFun.org and NPR.
And then the other thing we could do, we could do Comic of the Week.
Sure.
You know who the Comic of the Week is?
This is so embarrassing.
Why has Wynter Spears not been the Comic of the Week?
I don't understand that.
Wynter Spears is outstanding. And is it just her name's?
Wynter with a Y.
Yeah, Wynter, Wynter, Spears, like Spears, Spears.
Oh my God.
And she did that show at Dynasty with us.
Yeah, and Zach Galifianakis.
And Jack Galifianakis and Janelle James.
Yes.
And Virginia Jones.
Yes.
And
Bill de Blasio was on it as well. Very funny.
was Mark Brazil on? He wasn't. But I'll tell you.
Blasio, Brazil. I see what you did. Okay. It's just a B.
It's the B.
Yeah.
It's one of the 26 letters. I'm going to get them mixed up on a regular basis. But
you got a lot of B names in there. They're going to start to overflow.
Right. But Wynter Spears
on
is
each other.
genuinely funny.
Yes.
And she should be on all of your shows here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to bring her. She's from Chicago comic. And I wanted to bring her to Zanies, and he had already booked a feature, I guess, Bert. So
when are you going to be at Zanies?
January?
Oh, downtown?
Both.
Okay.
I'm doing Rosemont 3 days and downtown 2 days.
I'm doing a split week. I'm doing Rosemont the 30th and Zanies downtown the 31st.
Okay.
Yeah. Or split weekend or whatever.
Jimmy Pardo says that he only plays Rosemont, and I thought that they were booking them separately. Like he'll do Rosemont the whole week. And but that downtown room, I like it.
Oh, I like it too.
Yeah, so I like Rosemont too.
It feels like the history of comedy, that room. I love it.
Yeah.
It's very long.
It is long.
Care.
No, yeah, it is deep.
And Rosemont, of course,
is set up perfect.
Oh, it is. Yes.
Yeah, it's just set up like a perfect
set up great.
Club.
You're near a bunch of stuff, and you're in a hotel famous for organ trafficking, which is exciting to me. I like any kind of potential crime happening in the next room.
So, and is there a happy hour where you can get a kidney? Is that what I'm interested?
Or you can give one up. Yeah.
Well, I think we have 2. Do we have 2? Yeah. So Wynter Spears is the Comic of the Week, and then so we should plug stuff. We're doing
we
band.
realize we forget to plug stuff.
Right.
I don't know if people agree, but
right.
So what do you have coming up besides Zanies?
Well, I have
And Madison
So I'm doing what's this week is Bend, Eugene, and Portland.
Yes, please, guys.
Yeah, if you are in Portland or Vancouver or whatever, drive up. And be part of the the joy. And
Jackie
go to
and I,
JackieandLaurieShow.com for
to
ticket
quote a
links.
great man, we bet on ourselves.
Oh God!
And now we're hoping to reap all the benefits.
Yeah, we're going to totally reap the benefits of betting on ourselves.
Yeah, and it's just an experimental 3-night run in smaller cities, except for Portland. And Portland's a daytime show. It's 1:00, right?
Right. It's an afternoon show, it's a school night, so you can come out.
Yes.
And I'm going to have, supposedly the new notebooks are coming the day before Thanksgiving.
They look awesome. They're black. Are they bigger, or is it the same
they're a little
size?
bit bigger.
That looks really
and
good. What you
they're
sent me.
nicer. So we're going to have to charge $20 for them because they're $10 each.
Okay.
And online, like if you're if you don't live in the U.S. and if we have to ship it to you, I think we got to charge $30, but which is a lot for a notebook. But we could sign them, and you can write things in them. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
but they're good looking
that's up to you.
notebooks. And then we have some totes, and the totes can literally be $10. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
But I'm hoping to get them on the 27th.
The notebooks.
The notebooks, because they're
that'd be great.
coming from.
By the way, I listened to this Terry Gross interview with this singer, country singer. You know, I love female country singers that sing about death. That's like my jam.
No, this feels like a new reveal. What's her name?
Her name is Allison Moorer, Moorer.
Okay.
Okay. So her sister Shelby Lynn. Have you heard of Shelby Lynn?
Nope.
Okay, she's pretty famous in the country.
Sure.
And when she was a teenager, 14, her father shot her mother to death and then shot himself in the carport of their apartment complex.
Did he die as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
They both died. And so she went out. She heard the shots, obviously. She goes out. She doesn't hear anything, but she knows they're dead. There's whatever the feeling in the air, right?
Yeah.
She goes back, 14. And her sister, Shelby, goes out and actually investigates a little bit more.
Because she's 11.
No, she's 17, right?
Thank God.
And so she sees the bodies, right? And then whatever. So their life goes on in some way. They're both singers. Jackie, I see punchlines forming in your head. Could you just let a story unfold without trying to quip your way through it? God, be human.
Next day, tomorrow.
So she has a song called Nightlight, and it reminds me of you and Darla. And I don't even know if it's true, but the way she said her sister Shelby, who's a couple years older, in the midst of all this tragedy, was her nightlight. You got to listen to it.
That's very pretty.
Even you will cry. Even you.
Even I will find some humanity deep inside of me.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Go ahead now, make your jokes. Yeah.
Well, I would
ha. Both parents did.
I'll tell you this: when we were little, Darla and I shared a bed in the dining room of this. We had like a 2.5 bedroom apartment, right? So, my oldest brother Terry lived on a porch, which, by the way, was not enclosed in Wisconsin.
In the Midwest?
Yeah, he was 16. And then Phil lived in, I remember it being a pantry. He was like, no, it was kind of a room. And then Scott and Russ shared a room.
Yeah.
And then Darla and I had a bed in the dining room, and then my mother had a room. Wow. So the bed, but here's the thing about, I wet the bed until Nancy came and was like, seriously. You're 8, and you have to not wet the bed. And so she had a great plan where she'd put a star on the calendar, and she said, if you make it a month, I'll buy you a toy. So a month later, I had no longer wet the bed. Plus, there was a lot more structure in my life, which also probably helped.
Yeah.
But Darla told me that to this day she still sleeps on the edge of the bed. Because
she never knows when you're going to sneak in and just
pee
urinate
all over
and
the
then
mattress.
go back to your home with Andy.
Exactly. Yeah, I haven't wet the bed since. It's been a pretty good, pretty straightforward moment. But she's Darlication, pretty great sister, quite honestly. So I'll listen to that.
Yeah, give it a
sad
shot.
sack.
Allison Moorer, and the album's
Nightlight.
called Blood.
Okay,
and the song is called. It's an intense album.
I bet. How old is she now?
I don't know, maybe in her 40s or something.
Okay.
You know,
So
that's when all the good shit starts happening to women emotionally.
Well, you've processed everything, and you can finally
Yeah.
start talking about without bursting into tears or
Yeah.
expecting a parade, right? And
Her dad was kind of like a failed singer, a songwriter guy.
musician.
So she took one of his lyrics called "I Take the Blame,"
Oh God.
and she made it into a song. She and Shelby Lynn made it. It's when you know the story behind all that stuff, it's like, fuck,
Right.
amazing.
That is amazing. Good Lord.
Also, kudos to middle-aged women this week. Marie, is it Yovanovitch?
Yeah.
And Fiona Hill, killing it.
I missed the Fiona Hill. I heard it was.
She was so fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how was Cowboy?
Who?
Devin Nunez,
Oh,
Bill
he's-
Bleziel.
he's-
He's such a tool.
He's so corrupt.
He's so gross and so disgusting.
Yeah. But you know,
My mother-in-law lives in his district.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to praise these women that
Right,
are
right.
like,
Yeah.
killing it.
So
And they're our age,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and they're both career diplomats, right?
Yeah.
Ambassadors to
Well, no,
Yovanovitch.
Yovanovitch was an ambassador, and
To the
then Fiona
Ukraine.
Hill is like a Russia expert. I forget her exact job
Okay.
title, but
Nice.
but long-term State Department
That's awesome.
person.
I hope. What do you think? What do you think's next? Do you think it's what? Wait, where are you? You know what? We don't need to talk about politics. Talk to me about comedy.
No. I am. I'm a Dr. Grins on.
Oh, are you? I haven't done
December
that in ages.
I've never done it. I'm so excited because the name is so ridiculous, and I love a comedy club with a ridiculous name. You know,
Yeah.
I love it when a club is not trying to be cool. They're just like
Well, you are in the right business. Holy smokes!
Flappers is ridiculous. Dr. Grins is insane. Of course, the iconic
Rooster T. Feathers.
Yes,
Cock-a-doodle doo.
Sir laughs a lot.
Sir laughs a lot, but
I never worked it, but and that's my greatest regret in comedy.
that's
Froggy Bottoms? I don't even know what that meant. That was somewhere in Texas, like a smaller town in Texas, not Waco, but something that size.
huh. What about
Amarillo, maybe, I think.
something dome? What about that dome in Alabama?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Astrodome?
No, you're right, though. Oh, fuck, I forget. I haven't worked in a long time.
I never worked it. There's all kinds of clubs sort of in
Jackie,
the middle of nowhere.
it's
in
not
this-
our crowd.
but
Very southern room.
I know, but
they have
I-
a ton of southern acts.
there's such a huge part of me that wants to challenge myself.
I know.
in those Baton Rouge,
Yes, I know.
and some of those rural towns.
Oh, I agree. I would love it, but
because I have my favorite opening line whenever whenever consistently when I would not get booked, I would always say, it's not like they don't get cable. You know, they get television. They're going to get the jokes. There's nothing. I'm not reinventing the damn wheel.
No.
over
But
here.
I think if a crowd goes to a comedy club a lot and they get used to a certain time of act,
yeah.
that's what they go for.
Yeah, the training, the
Yes.
comedy club training is so important.
I do
really.
have one joke that I always open with in the South. It's about the phrase "fuck all y'all." I've been doing it for like 20 years, and it's never fails to not work in the South.
I always planned a great Reconstruction joke that nobody would have wanted to hear.
No, that's true.
It's,
Not even in the North do they want a Reconstruction joke.
Well, in the North, they're just going to stare at me odd, unless it's a room full of older white men who also collect trains. Anyway, because
That's a very Burbank man you've just described.
there's
There's
dude,
several train hobbyist stores in Burbank. It's like, is this necessary?
Magnolia. It really is, because I don't know if those dudes have disposable income and they want to build tiny towns that trains can go through.
It's so weird to me.
Right, but it's a fun thing for them.
Do you want them on the streets, Lori?
Do you want one
Do I have those little trains on the streets? I don't. Good point.
Noted. It's yeah. So and Carmen picked up a set in Milwaukee too, in between the Minneapolis and the Madison gig.
Cool.
So we're gonna
I'm going to be at Sacramento Punchline the week of February 14th. That I think it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
remember, maybe it's February 13, 14, 15.
That's funny because I think she was offering. That's the weekend that my niece's bat mitzvah is, and so I think I was.
Wait,
up
your
for
niece
that.
is Jewish?
Darla's Jewish.
Oh, okay.
She converted.
Oh,
Yeah.
All
So and my niece is going to be a woman.
okay.
Possibly she will.
Wait, your
get
niece,
her-
that's 13, right?
Yeah, it's 13. Yeah.
Should I have done something more iconic for my son's birthday?
Besides get him a whack-em? No. I think
That I returned
he
and another
completely
Wacom that I
enjoyed the-
returned? Yeah.
I think he enjoyed the iPad Pro.
Dude, I have been, because my mom has been gone.
Yeah.
I feel so much more relaxed.
Yeah.
We both are. I realize we both sort of run to our corners when my mom's in the house because it's like having a little nuclear explosions every time you turn around. So and now we're just kind of hanging out and relaxing. It's a lot more relaxing.
Yeah.
And I've been bringing him to sets with me all week, and just he just finds a place in the corner and draws on his iPad,
his Pro,
and
yeah.
it's real fun and easy. And I'm not super music oriented, you know. I think of all the comics, like Mark Maron is the most, or Marcella, where they just fucking know so much about music and they really get into it. And like someone like Maron knows every album that's ever made, right?
Yeah, there's
And
people
I
that are
don't.
really
I know
into
like
it.
Fleetwood Mac Rumors, and that's it, right? That's the only album I know. But
There
I
are sad
enjoy music.
cowboy music. Yeah.
When it plays, I'm like, hey, that's a good one. But I'm
Right.
not like, who is that? What year is that? I gotta find that and figure it
Right.
out.
Yeah, those people are intense. Yeah.
Yes. And I wish I liked it that much. I don't. I like talking, actually.
Okay.
More talk radio, whatever. So the long story is my son hasn't had a lot of music exposure. He's been taking piano lessons, but he hasn't had a lot of, he doesn't know who the Beatles are really. He doesn't
Okay.
know all this stuff that I think if he had an older brother or a parent that was into music, he would
Yeah.
know backwards and forwards,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So he just got Spotify and
there you go.
first of all, his mind is blown
Right.
by all these different songs, and he has the worst taste in music. It's unbelievable, and I can't say anything.
Does it rival his YouTube channel?
It's Japanese like synth pop, and it's all like knockoffs of knockoffs of knockoffs, and it's awful. And he's like, "Mom, listen to this," and he plays this thing, and I'm like, "Oh, this is so bad," but I'm like, "Yeah, I fucking love it." I can't say anything. I just try to be cool about it.
Okay.
But there's so many. Every song he loves is really, it's unmemorable. I've never heard of the band. I mean, it's just bad.
Is it like K-pop, like Korean? Oh, Japanese.
Is it J-pop? Yeah.
All right.
So, it's and so he's been playing Spotify on the way to every single gig and on the way back,
Right.
and he'll play one song like 4 times in a row,
Or 4 different songs that sound exactly like the same song.
yeah.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
It's
But like I remember
he's
feeling like
enjoying it.
that. Yeah.
yeah. All right.
About Sheena Easton. I mean, it has roots in me for sure.
Sure.
But it's so funny to just see it, you know, and to see it
Right.
just explode. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
has his own Spotify. He can't believe it. He can summon music in any second. You know what sucks? Like you can't give a kid an album though. I mean, you know, that used to be like a great present. Is that you'd try to find a perfect album for
Did you?
somebody?
What was the first album you ever got?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
My Nancy's mom gave me an Andy Gibb album, and it was a little intense.
He was attractive.
Well, he was dreamy. If you were 12,
Yeah, I
you were
was.
just like that guy. I was 12, and yeah, we're the same age.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, yeah, he was a little, yeah, I didn't.
Because
It was all right.
the Bee Gees, his older. That's okay. I'll cover for you while
Thank
you
God.
stroke out. The Bee Gees were like older and more sex oriented, right? You know, it's like Saturday Night Live or excuse me, Saturday Night Fever. They were
Right.
just like they were gross and old and they had
The
beards.
weird polyester pants.
when you're 12, Kyle. No, but Barry Gibb had like just a face of hair, right? Yes.
I remember them in their weird polyester pants, like
Yeah.
leaning into one Yeah, 3 buttons open and then just leaning on one leg with
They
like a
looked
weird half a
sleazy.
hip moosh. It
Like,
was so foul.
I didn't know about STDs, but I had a feeling. I just was like,
They
those
were
guys aren't right.
unclean.
But exactly,
Yeah.
unclean.
Yeah.
And Andy Gibb was very clean.
He
Squeaky.
seemed- yeah, right.
I
which
mean,
was-
he's dead. May he rest in peace. But
right. We didn't kill him.
No.
Who did? Any idea?
I don't. Whoever killed McKinley, I'm sure.
Right. It was
someone who
Leon-
wanted to be the
Leon
ambassador
Sursog
to
or
France.
whatever his name was. Hey, let's do another Max Fun break.
Hey, it's Jesse Thorne. We're very happy to announce that tickets for Max FunCon 2020 will go on sale Friday, November 29th at 11 a.m. Pacific. I also want to let you know, this coming year, Max FunCon 2020 will be our last Max FunCon for the foreseeable future. For 2020 and beyond, we're going to be looking for ways to connect with more of you in person and spread the spirit of Max Fun farther than it's ever gone before. In the meantime, if you want to join us at the last Max FunCon in Lake Arrowhead, June 12th through the 14th, you can find details at maxfuncon.com.
Now's the time, I think, that I can admit that I don't have any work in most of February on.
Okay.
Like I'm there's nothing on the books for March, April, May, and then the rest of the months that go on. And it's I need. There's part of me that's like, well, why don't you lie down for a month and not sweat it? And then there's another part that has that sort of, remember the Joan Rivers documentary where
Yeah.
she was like, the most terrifying thing
Yeah.
is to see a blank date.
That's the only scene I remember is her looking at her calendar and being so sick to my stomach because not only does that feeling never end, it will never be satisfied. And even Joan Rivers is worried about getting gigs.
Right. Even Joan Rivers. And it's, the other thing I remember from that documentary.
And do you want that feeling? Do you want that feeling the rest of your life? The feeling you have right now?
Yeah. About being worried about not having work. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm trying to figure it out. I was like, well, you could work in an office. You could just answer phones somewhere and just do spots around town. But yeah, I just, there's clubs I want to work that I don't work. And I'm like, all the big, all the big clubs, but
Yeah.
but if I worked all of those clubs and it was never home, would I be happy? Right. And would there still be weeks that I'd be like, well, who that guy's doing that?
Who cares if you're happy? You're working.
Yeah, write that down. Finally, something to embroider.
Yeah.
do you have that embroidery?
I do.
Someone made us a trinket.
It's really cool.
And gave it to us in New York.
It's in my room.
Super cool.
I'll get it. I'll
Yeah.
put it out here. Yes.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's the logo that Jeff Tice
Yeah.
made.
It was
Bill Blasian
beautiful. Marianne Hoekstra, I think.
made it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I found her on Twitter, if I remembered her name correctly. I have bins. I'm about to put shit in bins and put
You
it
got
in
bins?
the attic.
And put it in the attic. I didn't bring the totes because we're going to bring totes on
Okay.
the road this
Now
week.
I'm like, do I like this painting? Now I'm getting onto next levels of shit that I kept from my dad. That
Is this
I'm
all
like,
done, by the way?
no, I mean I have to put all this stuff away.
But is the guy done?
no, because there's a plumbing problem, so it's all
he's
dug
going to
up
do the
out there.
plumbing. Okay.
So yeah, that never ends. So like I don't like this painting, and I don't like that guy on the donkey. I don't like anything about it. It's mostly sand colored, which I don't like. I like blues, and there's like a little bit of sky.
There's a blue lady.
Yeah, right there.
That's there.
That's a print of a Picasso. You can on eBay you can get like these prints, like they do, they're illegal, but they do them like in China
They're
or something
refurbished.
no, but they they'll just do like an artist will paint, or they probably even have
they're
a machine.
reproductions, but it's but it's not a print.
No,
It's
but
an
I mean,
actual
if you
painting.
touch it, it's paint there.
Oh, that's
it's like
cool.
a Picasso.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, do I want it? Because Hannah Gadsby ruined Picasso. Are you guys hot? Do you want to turn the heater down?
I'm not
if you're
hot.
fine, okay. But But this Iranian thing, I think, is there a Persian person who would like this better? Like, why? Maybe they can appreciate it. That's their mountain. That's Mount Demavon. That's near Tehran. Maybe a Persian person wants it.
Yeah.
Why do I have it?
I don't know why you have it, but you should definitely get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's
not, right?
Right. It's not great. It's okay. I mean, but who cares? It's not, I mean, it's nothing.
And you should see all the stuff I got from Managua. It's
In Nicaragua?
now it's when my dad worked down there, he brought a bunch of little paintings back.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know, are they valuable, or did he just, did he get them
brought
at the version
so
of a
much
street
stuff.
fair, or
We brought so much stuff to Goodwill today.
why?
To clean out the garage.
Oh,
that I
like
could-
what?
It was boxes of books and
Yeah.
boxes of clothes and a couple of bookcases.
Yeah.
And I like giving bookcases to Goodwill because people need bookcases.
Oh yeah.
And there's never enough bookcases at Goodwill.
Yes.
So
I love giving stuff to Goodwill. That might be headed for Goodwill. All that stuff in there. Those are my son some toys that I hid a year ago because my son was like, I still play with them, and then I hid him, and he hasn't ever even requested them.
asked for them.
Yeah,
Right.
So I'm going to take him to I think a women's shelter because there's these things called magnetiles, and there are these little discs like triangles and not
puzzles,
disc
or-
shape. Yeah, but they kind of stick together so you can make like the whatever the shape is on top of the Louvre,
A pyramid.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Or you can build a lot of stuff, and
You
they
can build.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they're really fun for little kids, and they cost a lot. So
Yeah, and a women's shelter will have children.
yep.
So, there's I did an ad today for the Dork Forest for birth control through the mail, and which I had heard of, but I didn't know. I don't need it. So, but the thing is
Really, you don't need it anymore for sure.
well, I don't know. They say a year, but it's been several months that I've been shooting blanks. So,
What do you mean shooting blanks?
like the no period. Yeah.
Welcome to heaven, sister.
It's there we go. One day.
Welcome to heaven.
It's gonna be pretty sweet. And but I love the idea of all you have to do is fill out a questionnaire on this website, and it has like a yearly fee, like $20.
Mm-hmm.
But if you use the code DORK, you can waive that fee. But the weird thing is,
The code should be sex dork.
so sex dork.
Mm-hmm.
But it waives the fee for the first year.
Mm-hmm.
But then your insurance usually covers birth control, and if it doesn't cover birth control, like if you don't have insurance, which many people don't,
Right.
comics, it's like $15 a month for birth control, and it just comes to your door.
That's great.
Yeah. It's just called simplehealth.com or something.
That's great.
Anyway, but what a great idea, because there's these rural areas that you can't get. There's no clinics,
Right.
or you go to your doctor and they shame you for wanting to do it.
Right.
And you're like, I'm going to need
Why?
some
Why
birth
is that
control.
still happening?
I don't know.
Why is so much of this shit still happening?
I know. Sex, it's not that big of a deal. I remember the first time you had sex and you were like, oh, was that it?
I do indeed.
And I was like, I like sex. It's been done better since then, thankfully. And it's just, I mean, it's a learned skill to some extent as well.
Sure.
But the first time I was like, this can't be the whole thing. Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. All right.
Yeah. Because we weren't told that women had needs.
Well, there was
Right?
no.
I mean, I just figured it out a couple months ago.
It was Nicole Byer posted this thing about she said, if you guys send me, I'm going to buy everyone my favorite vibrator.
I
Did you see
saw.
that?
Yeah.
And now she has to buy 250 vibrators.
I tried to buy some shitty moms on Amazon because they were really cheap for a second.
Yeah.
And it won't let me buy more than 4.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. And I said, why? And they said, well, we don't want to run out of stock. And I'm like, well, who do you care who buys it? You get the same money.
Well, yeah.
What do you
that's so
care?
weird.
Yeah, it's I think because they know I'm going to try to sell them
Oh,
for a little
resell
bit
'em.
more
Yeah.
on the road. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it just doesn't make, I don't know. I said it seems illegal because I'm paying for Amazon Prime. If I want to buy something, you have it. You should sell it to me.
You should totally sell it to you. Yeah. Where are we at?
We are at 53.
53.
Okay.
So we could go even further into our calendars because I'm doing Vermont in January. I'm doing
Hey!
Zanies in January.
Cool. You got a great January.
Yeah, my December's amazing. My January's amazing. Lewis Lee told me that they just set up 3 or 4 cameras at Acme and a new sound system for recording.
Oh my God.
And he said you could hire someone to run the switch if you want to just edit on the fly. And Kyle, didn't you say that
Wow.
it's somewhere?
Irvine Improv does
Irvine Improv is doing that.
What do you mean?
And the sound
mean?
guy's willing to.
3 camera setup with the switcher, and he will give you the video basically almost the next day. It was insane. He's amazing.
Jesus. So everyone's Instagramming everything then?
I don't know.
Or
Well,
just
no-
for
You just got
I just got my
you
video.
got half-hour videos, right?
Yeah.
And was it for a whole weekend or was it just for one show?
Yeah, I got 4 videos.
So you got 4 videos that the sound guy.
The spot or whatever. But like,
Well-
his setup is insane. Every club should be doing what he does, and he designed it himself.
and did you pay for it?
No.
Or do you give him DVDs or so? Or
He has
yeah.
a Venmo in the room that's like you can throw money at your sound guy.
Oh, there you go.
Cash at him.
That's great.
This
So
is-
he is
So
Venmo.
if everyone can have like a professional looking shoot, what is it? What is Netflix if I know what it is, but I'm
Right.
saying that's good. It's good if you're
Right.
taking away, because there's gatekeepers that are not letting us through.
Mhm.
They're not opening the gates for us, but I don't know. It's interesting.
Mhm.
You know, just a couple years ago, that was reserved for somebody who could afford to bring in a camera crew. And
Right,
that's
or someone would buy it.
It's special quality.
Right.
It's like 3 cameras, but it's not on quite that level. But it's definitely like an insane reel video you could send.
Totally.
Right, and
yeah.
really good for Instagram.
Yes.
It'd be perfectly
for
fine
sure.
for Instagram. And yeah, Lewis was just like the only thing that, and he said, and this is entirely up to the comics, but if you have old material that you end up doing one night, if we could put that on our YouTube, if you'd be willing to let us have a cut of a 1 or 3 minute bit that we could put on our YouTube page, that'd be great. But if you don't want to do it, that's fine too.
He's so nice.
He's a good egg, that guy. And so, but the sound quality is CD quality. So you can just record your CD there if you want. And you can hire someone to run the switchboard. And Ryan lives in, Ryan who did 45.
The Black Iris?
Yep.
Did he move back to
Yeah,
Minneapolis?
I moved back to Minnesota.
Really?
Yeah, so I can hire him for,
He's a miracle worker.
yeah.
Wow.
I knew he would help.
He did
I'm
great.
so glad. Yeah.
That's kind of when we
That
met, right?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Because I was like, I had this mess of a special, and the person I hired to edit it had never edited a comedy before, and was just like, why am I in profile on any of these jokes? What the fuck?
That really does sum it up.
Yeah.
Right. The weird thing about that kind of quality video, though, is that someone who isn't ready, right, to do a special,
Yeah.
it really frees them up to just write more. Because you're like, oh, well, then I can consistently, you know how like you can't get the right tape. You can't get the right tape. You can't get the
Right.
right tape. And then in this case, you can get the right tape. Eventually, you just keep working that set.
Yeah.
And working those jokes and writing stuff. And then eventually, if you record everything, you will eventually have the right tape. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then they can be provided to the gatekeepers that remain, which,
Start an ill-advised record label.
or you could start an ill-advised record label. Like, that sounds radical. It sounds almost rad, Kyle. How we doing?
Jackie, we
It's
got to
on
fill
you.
out the time.
It's on you.
Oh, or did you?
I just opined for.
She just left. That's the sound of her car driving away. Wow.
I'm ordering a lift. It's
Well, I did a bunch of sets this week, and
working on the 2 new big bits, right?
2.5 new big bits, and then we just started a hiatus today. I worked today, And starting tomorrow, we have like a week and
because of
like
Thanksgiving.
10 days off.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be in Los Angeles for the first 5 days of it. And my mom's not here. And on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, my son will be at school all day.
Wow.
So it'll be sort of a weird feeling to be alone. But I have.
Does he have school tomorrow?
I have big plans. Yeah, he has school tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have plans, and I'm doing Hermosa tomorrow night. Friday
cool.
night. And I'd like to. I guess usually it's a 7 or 8 minute set. So if I could put together potential late night set and record it there. And
when do you call in your avails to him, Richard?
oh, I email like on Monday.
On Mondays?
Yeah, if I know.
Everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
So I talked to Josh about doing that December 23rd thing.
Oh, that's right. I think that's great. We might do something on December 23rd at
It's a Monday.
Flappers, where it's Jackie and I hosting a show with several female comics of the week.
Right.
And so it'll be like, I don't know, 6, 8 comics or something like that.
He was saying 10, but I like
Really?
the idea of 6.
We'll see. Yeah.
Just give people some
Give
stage
some,
time.
yeah, give people
Maybe
some time.
Wynter Spears wants to do it.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm sure everybody wants to do it because it's a fun. It's
a
just
show.
a Monday
It's
at
a
8
yeah.
o'clock.
And
At Flappers.
it'll be a holiday week. Everyone will be in a good mood. Holiday parties will be over, right? People aren't still doing company parties on the 23rd, really.
No, I can't imagine. Yeah, it's the day before the day before.
And the people that are left in LA are people that hate their families. And so they are going to want to be out.
Or they grew up here and they're just like,
Those
why would
people
I have ever left?
I don't talk to. There are people
He's
in
right
Burbank.
there.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Audience supported.